It was just another regular morning on The View until it wasn't. The studio was buzzing, the audience was settling in, and the panelists were ready to dive into the day's hot topics. But no one could have expected what was about to happen. Because on that day, Whoopi Goldberg said something that shook the entire country. With one fiery statement, she didn't just spark a debate, she ignited a full-blown political storm. And you won't believe how fast things spiraled out of control. It all started when the co-host began discussing the recent announcement from the Department of Justice. They claimed there was no Epstein client list to release, a statement that many believed was a cover-up. The mood was already tense. Even conservative commentators like Laura Ingraham had expressed frustration over the lack of transparency. But when it came time for Whoopi to speak, this is where it got interesting. She looked straight into the camera, her voice steady but sharp, and said, "If y'all think this man was ever going to expose the truth about Epstein, you're more naive than I thought. Trump doesn't want that list out because some of his people might be on it." The studio went silent, and then came the gasp. It was like the entire room had stopped breathing. Some co-hosts looked shocked, others nodded in quiet agreement. But Whoopi didn't stop. She continued, "There's no accountability anymore. People worship politicians like gods, and then act surprised when the truth doesn't come out. Sorry if you don't like it, but facts are facts." And just like that, the cameras cut to commercial, but the chaos was only beginning. Backstage, everything changed. According to a crew member who spoke off the record, producers were scrambling. Voices were raised in the control room. Executives rushed in to assess the damage. One insider revealed, she went completely off script. Nobody saw it coming. You could hear shouting through the earpieces. And let me tell you, what followed next was nothing short of a media explosion. Social media caught fire. Within minutes, hashtags like #Epstein Files and Whoopi vs. Trump began trending. Some viewers praised her for being bold. Others accused her of crossing the line. Conservative networks were the first to attack. They called her statement reckless and un-American. Some even demanded her immediate firing. But here's the shocking part. ABC didn't issue any apology. Not yet. That silence only fueled the controversy. The backlash hit hard. Fans of The View were divided. The studio had always welcomed heated debates, but this felt different. And remember, this wasn't the first time Whoopi had clashed with the network. Back in 2022, she was suspended for 2 weeks after her comments about the Holocaust. So, when she dropped another bombshell, people started asking, could this be the end of Whoopi on The View? But the craziest part, ABC wasn't just facing public outrage. Sources claimed that political operatives began calling the network asking if Whoopi's comments could be legally challenged. Behind closed doors, ABC's top executives were reportedly meeting with legal teams and advertisers. Some brands even paused their sponsorships, fearing the fallout. Yet, through all of this, Whoopi remained silent at first. Then came Monday's episode. The audience was buzzing. Everyone was waiting to see if she would backtrack. But instead, she stared directly into the camera and said, "I said what I said. If telling the truth makes people uncomfortable, that says more about them than me." The audience erupted. She wasn't backing down, not even a little. And this is where it gets deeper because this wasn't just about Trump or Epstein anymore. This was about how far the media was willing to go to protect powerful people. This was about what happens when someone dares to ask the questions nobody else will. And trust me, what makes this story different is how quickly it exposed the cracks in both politics and media. The tension from Monday's episode hadn't even cooled when another wave of drama hit. Just hours after Whoopi's defiant statement aired, a leaked internal memo began circulating online. It was allegedly written by a senior ABC executive, and what it said left everyone stunned. The memo claimed that Whoopi Goldberg had been placed on a watch list within the company due to her growing unpredictability and bold on-air remarks. Now, let me tell you, this wasn't just a simple HR warning. This memo painted a picture of a network caught between public opinion, political pressure, and corporate sponsorships. The memo read, "While Ms. Goldberg remains a valued talent, recent unscripted comments regarding ongoing federal investigations, including implications against former President Trump, have placed the network in a vulnerable position with advertisers and legal consultants." You won't believe how fast that document spread. Within hours, it was trending. People were shocked. Was ABC preparing to silence one of its most iconic hosts? But here's the shocking part. The network didn't deny the memo. They issued a vague public statement saying only that The View supports open dialogue and diverse opinions. That silence spoke louder than any official comment. It was clear something big was happening behind the scenes. Inside The View, things were boiling. The atmosphere turned tense. According to an anonymous staffer, the cast was now deeply divided. Sonny Holland stood by Whoopi, believing she spoke the truth. But Alyssa Farah Griffin, a conservative voice on the panel, was reportedly furious. She allegedly felt blindsided, claiming that the show was veering too far into dangerous territory.